From numerous bugs and glitches, to claims playtesters weren't given any time to test the game at all, here is an in-depth analysis of why the Apeirophobia Chapter 2 update objectively failed. Before we dig into why the update flopped, let's take a look at the promising start it had. On the 18th of November, 2022, after the release of Update 3.5, Update 4 was announced to be in the works along with several bug fixes, which was a miracle as they had only just finished the previous update a few days prior. Then, after 2 months of silence, a vote was held to determine what the next level would be, with Maul being declared as the winner. Now listening to the community is always a good thing as a game dev, as letting the community vote for a level displayed how much they cared about their fanbase and the game itself. And then 4 days later releasing a sneak peek of another brand new level really gave us all the impression that the devs were working hard to bring us the new content. Another month went by and another teaser was released. A short while after, a new sneak peek was delivered alongside it. Some time passed and a trailer was released alongside a preview for a revamped model at the end of the month. With monthly sneak peeks being released, it kept the majority happy. But finally, after almost a full year of waiting, the update was made available to the public. Now normally with updates taking so long you'd expect hours worth of content, and since they released so many sneak peeks, there must be that much gameplay, right? Wrong. If you watched my previous video you'd see that once the filler of pointlessly walking around was cut out, the game amounted to only around 20 minutes of somewhat active gameplay. Even with this small amount of game time, it still managed to contain many annoyances and bugs. In the first level alone, a massive amount of these bugs took place. These include the entity killing you through walls and ceilings, not being able to walk away whilst filing the key, and most importantly, losing all progress if you decide to reset to let your friends respawn. Alongside this disappointing start, some more notable bugs that took place are the entire church level resetting itself, spawning under the map, and not to mention the several more they have listed in their Discord server. With the section of this video regarding their onslaught of bugs now over, let's start to take a look at the gameplay itself. The gameplay at the start is overall confusing. When picking up the keys, you have no way of knowing if you actually picked them up or not, and without any help, figuring out the filing part is also quite difficult for the average player. The next confusing level is outside. I mean, what's even the point of this level? You slave away with blood, sweat, and tears dripping from the corners of your pink laser hyper super duper Aryan cherry keyboard switches with no real threat, begging the heavens to stumble across the door that sets you free. Not even comparable to that of Fancy's Escape the Backrooms, which deserves a whole different video. This level just feels like something they made to fill out time and make the update seem bigger than it actually is. And what's with the arcade level? It's a cool concept overall, but without any enemies or goal beside finding a way out, it feels like even more filler to pan out the time. All these bugs combined with confusing gameplay completely ruined the immersion and any fun for me and my friends, and almost led to us quitting the game after we lost our progress. After over 9 months of development, you would expect at least some unique and interesting gameplay without bugs, which is a complete contrast to what we actually received. Another thing to point out is how almost every single level is the same, which has been similarly attributed to other failed games such as Dystopia, where update releases became so underwhelming and repetitive everything had the essence of a reskin. When you decide to make an update on your game, your first thought should be, how can we make this more fun, and not, how many filler mazes can we force feed into this hot mess of jumbled code? Not only would the latter bore your player base to death, but even cause permanent damage to your game. This can be proven true as all the previous updates to the game have garnered positive feedback, as levels such as the parkour room and dog room were unique and different to that of every other game in the Backrooms community. But enough with the gameplay. Let's move on to some drama. Not only do the devs seem to hate the idea of fixing bugs, they also seem to hate the idea of finding them in the first place. As I was browsing their Discord server to get feedback for the update, I managed to discover this person claiming to have been demoted due to him being a leak risk. Now do I know if this is true? Not for sure, no, but what I do know is that the story makes sense, as it is extremely difficult not to notice the bugs in the game, which must mean the playtesters had close to, if not no time at all to play the game before release. The Chapter 1 fixes also make sense as they have not yet been released, which could be written off by saying they wanted to get the update out faster. But promising fixes and not delivering after so long just screams overall laziness, and what do you know? Creek did end up playing the game and bringing it more attention, so I guess they got what they wanted. Another message I found was from a previous lead script writer who quit the team, apologizing for the amount of problems with the game and responding in the replies stating he had no control over handling problems. He also stated how his experience in the team was overall negative, which is why he ended up leaving, and supported the first screenshot by saying once again how they refused to play test their game, as the entity at the start could literally just walk through walls. From all the rumors I've heard, it seems that the dev team is very stubborn, along with flat out refusing to give testers their right to play. They lacked communication and basic necessities as a team, sometimes even deciding to treat them poorly. All this is probably something they should work on in the near future, but speaking of something they could work on, instead of just telling you all how bad the dev team is, I think we should also give them some constructive criticism for the next time they release an update. First and foremost, play test your game. I cannot stress how important this is to maintaining a nice and bug-free experience, and instead of just ignoring any of the obvious bugs you see and hoping people won't notice, you should actually work to fix them. Next up, I'll say that mazes are getting boring, and I'm sure most if not all other players can agree. There's only so many times you can get lost in the backrooms and find it fun, so instead of just creating another reskin, you should focus on adding more unique puzzles, similar to the one you added at the start, whilst also making sure that the goal of the puzzle is obvious and fixing the complaints mentioned earlier in the video. Now, when creating puzzles for a game, you need to make sure that you balance the difficulty, as some may quit, but make sure it is not too easy so as to make sure it is a memorable experience. An example of this is level 9 in Fancy's Escape the Backrooms, where you aim to cure an entity and leave with a keycard. This is a brilliant example as it still maintains the maze-like feel of the backrooms whilst keeping the goal interesting and new. Another thing the devs could do is actually follow up on promises they make. This could mean instead of skipping bug fixes for almost a year, you should tackle that problem first before actually starting the main update itself. This way everything that needs to be done is already finished in the previous levels before you even start the full development of the next chapter. Before I finish this video off, I'd like to say that this is not intended as a hate video towards the devs, and is merely here to document and give feedback. And yes, I will be playing the live event, so I hope this doesn't disappoint like the rest of the update. And with that out of the way, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It's my first time ever making a video like this, so if you have any feedback make sure to let me know. So like if you liked, dislike if you didn't, and I'll catch you later.